The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from North Star Games.
Warsaw City of Ruins from North Star Games is a unique tile laying game where we are going to be drafting tiles, kind of like Seven Wonders. We're going to have a hand of tiles, we're going to pick one, and then we're going to pass the rest of the tiles around to the next player. We're going to be doing this over 6 different ages, and we have to deal with 2 world wars, which are going to destroy parts of our little section of Warsaw that we are rebuilding. So let me show you how the game is played, and then we're going to look in as Dad and his friends play through a turn, and then we're going to come back and tell you what we think. So check it out. Warsaw City of Ruins is a very fast and easy tile laying game. To start with, each player is going to get a starting tile denoted by the S on the back, and they're all identical. You can see we have a section that is a park and a section that is residential. So that'll be the start of our area. We're also going to choose one of the mermaid scoring markers. Now I will point out there is no green, and you know I always ding a game if they don't have green for my color. That's a very minor thing, but we do have red, white, blue, and yellow. Also, in a 3-player game, or up to a 3-player game, each player will get a scoring tile. And then on the back, you can see it also has a little player aid. Now, the game only comes with 3 of these, and that's because they would have actually had to print another sheet to get a 4th tile based on the number of tiles that are printed in the game. I understand why they did it. It's a cost thing, but that just does kind of stick out a little bit. Each player is also going to start the game with 6 money. Now, the game is going to be played over 6 rounds, and you'll notice we have stacks of tiles numbered 1 through 6. So, to begin a round, each player is going to be dealt 4 tiles, and any tiles that are remaining are going to go back into the box, and those are out of the game. But they're going to look at the tiles that they've collected, and they're going to decide which one they want to start with. They're going to pay any cost, or they can actually get rid of this and collect 3 money. But every player is going to pick one, they're going to place it down in front of them, and then they're going to pass to either the right or the left based on which round they are in. All players will then reveal their tile simultaneously. They'll pay the cost that's marked up at the top, and they'll place it somewhere adjacent. Now, they cannot place diagonal, but they can place basically anywhere that they want, as long as their grid is either a 3x4 or a 4x3. Now, there is a special tile that will allow a player to build a 4x4 grid. But when you place tiles like this, you'll see that all I've done is I've increased the size of my park. It's still considered one park. Now, however, if I had placed this tile over here, now I would have 2 separate parks in my area. So once all players have either placed the 4 tiles for the round in their city or they have discarded for money, then we have these milestone buildings. Now these are going to be awarded based on the criteria that you see below, and then during the income phase, which follows after the placing of the milestones, they're either going to get money or points or some other ability. Now you'll notice once we play through the 2nd and 3rd, when we go from between the 3rd and the 4th, you'll see that there is this little biplane with a little red around it. That represents World War I, and during that time, before we do any of the income phase, we actually have to destroy, meaning throw this out of the game, one of the tiles that is in our area. Between 4 and 5, you'll notice we have a different type of airplane with the red around it. That represents World War II, and that means that we have to get rid of 2 tiles in our city. Now, we can never get rid of tiles where we are going to have an orphan tile. So let's just say I had a situation like this. I could not get rid of this middle tile because that would leave these 2 tiles unconnected. Once we play through the last round, we'll tally up the score, and whoever has the most points wins. So now that I've kind of showed you how the game is played, Let's watch a turn between Dad and his friends. We are ready to start the fourth round. We just dealt with World War I, and everybody had to basically destroy one of their tiles. We're going to pass out 4 tiles to each player. And then the remaining tiles will go back in the box. So now we'll draft one and we'll pass clockwise. Is that right? Counterclockwise.
Yeah.
I can't afford these.
Remember, you can always discard a tile and collect 3 money. Everybody reveals and pays simultaneously.
If I can't have it, nobody can.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think I've really crippled myself. I don't have any economic engine here.
Well, yeah, I did, but because I passed on so many inexpensive tiles, when we go to lose tiles, I'm going to lose some valuable tiles.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to lose tiles that I don't necessarily want to lose, I think. All right, good. I'm going to trash this one for 3 money.
I'm in the trashing business.
Gonna buy this
That hurt.
one. Did you want that one?
No. It's too expensive. That's really going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot because I have to trash it, and I was wanting a tile that I could play that I could destroy for the Second World War. So that really hurts.
Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
Nope,
So I got to take the money.
I can't afford. I'm in the same boat. I should have bought a lot more cheaper tiles to destroy earlier in the game.
Yeah. Wasn't thinking.
All right, ready?
All right, so World War II happens, and we have to get rid of 2 tiles. I think I'm going to get rid of these 2. Okay, we had a little production snafu there, but everybody got rid of their 2 tiles for World War II. So now we'll figure out who gets the milestone, and we have the WZ route here. Get that into focus. So this says the most overbuilt tiles. I have only 1. Anybody else got
That's
any?
still the most.
All right, so I will get to be able to put that into my building or my city. So I'll go ahead and put that there. Then next, we will go through our income phase. So we're going to score parks first. You get to score 1. However, Michael has a building that lets him score 2 parks. So basically, you pick a park, and you are going to get victory points for every attached residential area. So in mine, if you look at what I have here, I have, here's my biggest park. Actually, it doesn't matter because since I had destroyed my other tile, I will get 1 point because I only have 1 residential area there.
And I have 1 park that's adjacent to 2.
So my big park gets me 1, 2, 3, and then I score an additional 1 for another 1. So I get 4.
All right. Next, we have the purple, which is culture. And I actually have 2 different culture spots, and we're going to score for each one of those. So I've got 2 for that one and 1 for that for a total of 3.
1 for me.
1 for yellow and 2 for red.
And you gave me my points?
I did.
Thanks, sir. All right, next we have our commercial buildings. Those are going to give us money. For each of the yellow buildings we have, we're going to get 1 coin for every adjacent residential area. So this is where I am deficient because I have none. And it looks like the war was not kind to you.
Yeah, mine broke. So I have 1, and then 2, 3. So.
2. Because I lost thanks to the war.
All right, next we're going to look at our industrial. And industrial is going to give you money based on what it has on there. So looking at mine, I have 3 from this one and 3 from that, so that'll give me 6 money.
And then I have 2.
And you guys never passed me one of those tiles, so
You've-
I have none.
All right, next we're going to look for buses. I only have 1. They can't be adjacent to each other, but you're going to get 2 points for every bus route that you have, and you have to have a minimum of 2.
And I have 3, so that will be 6 points.
So we did notice that there was a little bit of a problem. Chris had actually orphaned one of his tiles, so he's corrected it, but it didn't change anything that we've already showed. So we're all good there. So next we have our public buildings, and well, the monuments are considered the public buildings as well. So we're going to get victory points and money for those. Let's see, for each tile that is adjacent to this route, I get 1 money and 1 coin that's overbuilt. So I only have 1, so I'm going to get 1 money and 1 victory point.
Point for red.
Oh.
Or, you're white.
I'm white.
What happened?
I'm the guy in the last place.
Mine is for the water filter. Every park that touches this, I get a point and a coin, so I get 3 points and 3 coins. 2 for yellow. Thank you.
Yep. All right, so I have 2 that allow me to buy victory points. The Warsaw Vienna Railway and the airport. In this particular case, I'm just going to buy the 2 victory points for $4. I want to have some money for the next round.
I didn't do my telephone joint stock company. I thought we're doing, it's fine. For every adjacent red building to a public building, I get a victory point. So this is 2 for this guy, and then 1 for that guy. So 3 more. And this final one just says I can build a 4x4 grid.
All right, so Michael was the clear winner here because we've lapped the board. So you ended with 28, so 78 points. Chris was about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points behind. I was about 10 points behind Chris. So Michael, would you say was your benefit there?
Mine was these buildings.
You could build a 4x4 grid.
I got a 4x4 grid, and then I got this card shortly after that allowed me to build any empty space for 3 less.
Yeah, that's huge. And then the 4x4, because he had public buildings that scored off of adjacency to other buildings, he had obviously more square footage to have adjacencies and exponentially.
My Polish telephone joint stock company allowed me to build or score every red building adjacent to a public building.
Yeah, my
So
my dismal
kind of
looking thing there looks like crud. The only thing that really helped me was I had 3 of the buses, and then I got the points for those, and then I got points for having buses on the outside edges, and then my overbuilds. So
Yeah, my strategy had been to get income and then buy my victory points at the end. So I was able to build an income of 15 at the end and then spend 18 coins to get 9 points, which was certainly not enough. And then I also worked on bus routes that allowed me to score 8 points at the end as well, but it just wasn't anything compared to what Michael put together.
yeah. All right, so now let's get to what we think.
So I like the tile laying games. So a little bit of Between Two Cities, if you've played that, being able to sell off the things that you don't want to use, a la Seven Wonders, those types of things. So the game is simple to understand, a quick drafting game, back and forth, and looking at your neighbors to see what you're willing to give to them when you do the drafting. I like all those aspects. Everything is a quick teach. Most people are going to be able to understand it pretty well. Very straightforward game.
Yeah, it plays super fast. It's real easy. Pretty much everything you said, I echo those sentiments. I like the game, and it plays well over lunch too. We've played it several times at lunch. Like I said, because it is fast. This is the part you really got to watch for, is World War One and World War Two, when you have to basically destroy sections of your city. And in my case, I didn't have any throwaway tiles. It really kind of hurt me when that happened. And the arsenal, which allows you to protect one building during each of the wars, was not in the game. So it must have been one of those tiles that was not used. That's always a big help.
Yeah, I think early on, money is so tight that by the time you get to the war and you have to remove those tiles, you generally had not spent any money on those cheaper tiles because money is so tight, and so then you don't have those throwaway tiles when you get to the war.
Yeah, the artwork on the tiles I think is really good, especially the pictures of from the actual city of Warsaw. I think these are nice. These other ones are nice and clear. Big print on the numbers and the icons there. The board doesn't really need to be any bigger than what it is. In fact, you wouldn't even need a board if it wasn't for the scoring, really. But that's nice. The rule book itself is nice. All the public buildings and the milestones, it's got information on there, so tells you exactly what they do, so there's not any guesswork. So that's always a good thing to have.
I like the variety of the cards, the tiles in both the city layouts. As you get deeper into the build, you start with one or two sections, and then you build into 3 and 4 sections all together. I think they've done a very nice job in how they've put it together.
And the quality of the tiles is good. They're nice and thick, and they've got the age, and they're different colors on there, so very easy to distinguish. The insert itself is good, with the exception of where the coins go, because no matter how I put the box, if I move it at all, the coins are going to pop out. That's really my only negative that I have.
So and I think Michael mentioned it sometime during, so it may have been when we filmed a turn. It would be very nice to have an indicator on your board of what color score tracker you have. While I generally play red, so it's easy for me to keep that in mind. Because it's not a full set, there's no green, obviously, so you have to remember what color you are.
Right.
If you don't have a standard color that you play, it's hard to potentially remember. I've run into that. I think I've played this 3 or 4 times, and it's actually become an issue in almost all the games.
Yeah, and I always ding a game if they don't have green as a player color, so ding. But that's really it. And there's ways that we could come up to mitigate that with any other kind
absolutely.
of color tokens from anything. But
yeah, overall, I think it plays well. It plays quick. It's a lighter. It's a lighter game. So it's probably not going to hit the table a lot unless it's during a lunch activity, something along those lines.
Yeah, I do like the variety you had mentioned before. The drafting part and the destruction part, I think, sets it apart from other tiling games like Carcassonne or other ones.
Yep.
All right, so that is Warsaw, City of Ruins, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.